Welcome back to the channel. I started out the day today. I was originally going to do gravel on the driveway with the tractor. Or we've got gravel now. We've had it for it's the second weekend. So, and I was gonna do some more on my garden. And I thought I need to move some dirt for the shelter. I mentioned that in another video. And I said, well, first thing I need to do is do some weed eating. So I weed eated up by the main road and by the bridge to the creek. I cut some branches down. I came down here to throw them in the pile down here. Then I saw this here, and I remembered that was supposed to be a priority coming into spring, because as you can see how overgrown it is, we usually cut this. But what happened last year was we had, when it rains pretty heavy, what'll happen is water coming down the hill right here. We're running this part, plus if that creek gets high enough, the runoff creek coming from up at the pond, it doesn't necessarily flood this area, but it gets it real wet and you can't get in there. So that's what happened last year. It was raining enough that we couldn't get in there to cut, so Robin would just stop cutting right here, and then it got so overgrown, got doing other things. We have not even cut this in over a year. So I figured I better jump on it before the year starts. As you can see, there's some nice logs in here. They may still be good under the surface, but they're rotting on the bark, and everything is rotting off of them. But there's several logs in here that I had moved. These were all these logs were just laying up that way when we started cleaning that area up by the garage, or the outbuilding. So we thought we'd put them down here, and Robin has used 3 of them there for the gravel pit. And then we're just going to leave those there until we figure out what to do with them. So I'm going to clear out around them. Possibly there could be some snakes in here, but maybe not. Haven't seen any yet. I've been working on it for about 15 minutes so far. So I'm going to clear this area out. I thought about bringing the mower down here and trying it at the highest setting, the ride mower, but it's still kind of soft in there. So I'm going to go ahead and weed eat some, and then maybe test it out a little bit. But I got to weed eat around here with these logs right anyway, so I may just end up weed eating around the whole thing once and then cutting it. Maybe tomorrow after it sits for a little bit more. We might get a little bit of rain tomorrow evening. So I've got between now and tomorrow afternoon to get something done on it. So I'm just gonna take my time weed eating. All you can do is weed eating. You can't get in a hurry with it. All right, I got a little bit done with the mower. I may try to move this log right here that I moved. I moved it over this way, this end, but I couldn't move that in. I need to go get the tractor. I don't know if I can messing with it. So I may just try to move it back so I can get through here. As you can see, I know it doesn't look like much now, but once it dries out and starts regrowing, it'll be a little better. Now this right here, I have to weed eat over there because it is still, this pretty much stays moist in here unless we get a big drought. But you can see I don't want to drive my mower in that. So that usually is kind of overgrown. We have had it cut down a little bit before, but also I've noticed in the time that we've lived here, you will see rabbits building their dens in here in this tall area and inside those trees. At one time I was wanting to clear out those trees, but I think I'll just leave it the way it is. Maybe keep this weed eated down once or twice a year. I'll probably get it done soon. So I'm going to weed eat that, and I could probably just go ahead and weed eat this real quick too. It's not worth trying to get my mower in there, but I do want to get these logs moved into one little pile. That way I don't have to weed eat in between them all the time. So I'll have to get the tractor down here to do that. I don't know if that'll happen today, maybe tomorrow, we'll see. So the mower is doing pretty good. There's a lot of these piles. I don't know if it's moles getting in there, what it is, or if it's just where it's got a lot of water in it. See right here, where it sounded like I hit a piece of wood there a second ago. It was running over a dirt, where the dirt was mounted up, mud was mounted up. So it's starting to look better already. One more thing, in case you're first time visiting the channel, if you're saying, Joe, why don't you just get a brush hog? I mention this every once in a while. That's a good, valid point. All it takes is money. And I've definitely found out, since we've lived here on our 13 acres of woods, that money does not grow on trees. Besides what the kids think, it doesn't grow on trees. So what I did right here so far with the mower, I don't know if I mentioned it just a minute ago, but you know, that probably saved me 45 minutes of weed eating. So it won't take long to finish this up. That's minus that over there. Okay, it's the next day, and getting ready to do a little bit of tractor work. I'm going to start off down where I was weed eating, and I'm going to move these 3 logs into one spot. Then I'm going to do a little bit of the gravel on the driveway. I say a little because I want to get up and move the dirt that has fallen loose up where the shelter's going to be, and I want to put it on the pathway, at the bottom of the pathway. I've been trying to do that as time goes by to raise it back up, because there's been some ruts that went down so deep that it's getting in danger of the side by side not being able to get through there. Just wanted to say real quick about, we got when the tractor, the bracket for the brake armature, that's what I'll call it, I don't remember the technical name, but it busted, and it was actually, I found out because it was a recall on my style and the 1025R, which I have, and the 2025, it's either 2025 or 2035. This is the next step up, and the years were 2019 through 21 or 22, something like that. It's a bracket. It said it had a tendency of cracking and falling off, which makes your brakes not work. So I came out and looked at mine, and sure enough, my brakes were still working at the time, but it was cracked. And when I went to clear snow over the winter for the first time, it was real cold, and I guess that made it go ahead and bust all the way. So we were going to replace it ourselves. Robin called and I was going to go get the part, and they said they had to do it. They weren't allowed to let us do it. I guess with a warranty issue, they have to fix it. So anyway, we got it fixed, and the tractor brakes are working great now. But I got under there and looked, and the difference, I remember the part that was busted, it looked like it was cast aluminum maybe. It wasn't metal. Well, this one here is metal. So I guess they were trying to save a few bucks on those parts when they first designed it. But now I'll keep an eye on it though and make sure this one doesn't crack. That's where we're at with that. If anybody has been around long enough to wonder, that it got fixed. Okay, I have got this as best as I can get it for right now. I mean, it's good enough. I just wanted to try to get them gathered together, so when I come down here to weed eat or whatever, it'd be easier to do versus what I just did yesterday. And I was looking, Robin used to cut this with the riding mower, but what I just did with the tractors kind of messed things up. So hopefully we're not going to get any more rain for several days. And I really don't want to do it right now. It's just nothing but mud. I've learned my lesson on trying to grade stuff when it's muddy. Get this dry enough, I'll come in here and try to smooth this out to where she can cut it pretty easily and quickly with the riding mower. The only place it's got a hill right there around that stump. I guess I could try to get the stump out of there. Maybe we'll try to do that one day this summer. As you can see, there's never going to be a lack of something to do around this place. Yeah, if you say there's nothing to do, that's just because you don't want to do anything around here. There's always something to do. Having the gumption, I guess, to get out and do it is the only problem, and it is a problem sometimes. So I look forward to the day that I can semi-retire so I can work harder than I do at my day job. All right, I think I'm going to wrap this video up. I'm getting ready to go start on do some gravel and some other stuff like I just mentioned a minute ago, but we'll do those in other videos. I'll film those and do them in other videos. So appreciate you watching this video, and appreciate everybody who subscribes. And if you haven't subscribed, please do if you're enjoying it. Some days some of these aren't as interesting as others, but as the title of our page says, you know, it's just our Kentucky Valley life. It's not it's not anything planned. It's just stuff we're doing, and some stuff is more interesting than others, I guess, by the views. But we appreciate every one of you, even when there's not that many of you. So have a good day, and God bless. See you next time.